Hello Libra, and welcome to your Lunar Cycle Insight video that runs from today, the new moon in Gemini, on the 13th of June and heads up towards the new moon solar eclipse in Cancer on the 13th of July. So we begin this lunar cycle with a new moon in the sign of the Twins in your 9th house. Gemini is the sign that opens us up to fresh perspectives, that opens our eyes to seeing things in new and different and exciting ways. The 9th house is a space of our birth chart where we can become quite rigid and fixed in our belief systems and thought patterns. So this new moon opens you up to thinking about things in a completely new and exciting way. Perhaps there are some beliefs or some ideologies that you've been holding on to that are no longer serving you. This can particularly be focused around our religious and spiritual beliefs. So now is the time to rebirth yourself mentally, to open up to new layers, new perceptions, new levels of seeing things, new ways of taking in and teaching and sharing information. This is also the house of our birth chart where we open up to learn new things through engaging with different cultures, through travel, through taking in new knowledge, through expanding our mind in some way. So this can be a time for you, Libra, of hungering for new knowledge, of really being excited about taking in new information. So once we have, accumulated the new knowledge, at the new moon we can set our intentions to retrain our mind, to reframe our thinking patterns so that they are in alignment with this new ideology that we are integrating. Mercury is going to be in Cancer in your 10th house of career, purpose and work life, in square to Chiron in the 7th. So there may be some tension arising between your work life and your relationships. Perhaps there are some deep emotions or feelings that need to be expressed to your loved ones at this time that will help you to free yourself up, to free up some more time and energy for you to expend in, building your dreams and building your visions. This is a time when, deep-seated emotional wounding can come up to be communicated with those that you work with and those that you're in partnership with. So you, Libra, are the skilled communicator, the diplomat of the zodiac. So you can use your skills to help bring balance, to help bring peace to these disharmonious energies through the power of your words and voice. Venus is going to be moving into Leo at the time of this new moon in your 11th house of friendship. So this is going to be a beautiful month for you for connecting on a heart level with your soul tribe. This is time for you to enjoy the beauty, the pleasure of connecting with like-minded souls. It's going to be in square to Uranus, who is newly installed in your 8th house of death, rebirth, deep psychological processing, sexuality and intimacy. So you may have noticed since Uranus arrived here, there's been a huge activation and, perhaps some downloads of insight coming in connected with these areas of your life. And as Venus makes this square to Uranus, perhaps someone that you're friends with, perhaps someone in your friendship group, perhaps something you see online, ignites a spark within you and calls you to liberate yourself from some outdated conditioning. Uranus in the 8th house is going to be working in tandem with Mars in your 5th house. And this is going to be really asking you to liberate yourself from those old societal constructs that are suffocating your soul. And you, Libra, are often a sign that likes balance, likes harmony, likes conformity. So this could be a very awakening energy for you, and perhaps it's going to be initiated by someone that you are close to. You know, could even be someone that you're intimate with. You know, there's a huge change going on for you in the way that you express yourself on those levels. So Neptune is going to be stationing retrograde on the 17th of June. Neptune's going to be stationing retrograde in your 6th house. So this is the house of holistics, the house of health, home, the house of work and our day-to-day structures and routines. So at this time, there can possibly be a sense of not seeing these issues clearly. Neptune invites us to see everything through rose-tinted glasses. So particularly as he's in trine to Jupiter at the moment, this can be a time when we might overindulge in addictive patterns that then, or addictive behaviors or addictive substances, you know, whether that's anything from kind of hard drugs down to too much caffeine, but perhaps we're putting something in our system which we know isn't good for us. We're overindulging. We're trying to disconnect ourselves from some of the harsh realities of life, perhaps. So these are all, you know, things that can rise up when Neptune stations in the 6th house. It's that need to disassociate ourselves through toxic substances, or, you know, even through spiritual bypassing. You know, perhaps we're trying to avoid some of the more disharmonious stuff that is rising at this time through, you know, just wanting to send love and light, or, you know, denying what is really going on under the surface. This can be a time when it is revealed to us the subconscious beliefs and patternings that are keeping us anchored in limitations as well. So things can be a bit confusing and, you know, a bit discombobulating around this time with Neptune in the 6th house. So perhaps things are feeling a little unclear in your daily routines, your daily structures. Perhaps you're just feeling like you want to float away and, you know, spend your time gazing at clouds and reading poetry and indulging in all of these beautiful things rather than doing the work that you need to do. So just be aware that there might be some self-discipline required this month, Libra. On the 21st of June, we cross the solstice threshold. Here in the northern hemisphere, we go into the summer solstice, you know, the energetic peak of the year. The light is at its brightest. In the southern hemisphere, you will be receiving the return of the light. The light will start to go bigger and stronger from this moment on. And wherever we are in the world, this is a point of change, a point of culmination, of celebration. And for you, Libra, at this time of year, the sun will move into your 10th house of career. He's going to join Mercury there. So this is a time where you can shine brightly in whatever you are offering the world. This is very connected not just with our, you know, work career, but also with our purpose in life as well, our highest destiny. And it's very interesting that this will be, you know, the sun in the sign of the Great Mother for you, because you are such a great nurturer and carer, Libra. So this is a time when people can be more drawn to your work. You know, you might find there's more people coming and wanting your energy around this time of the month. So just be sure that you are not overgiving and that you are staying in balance and also nourishing and nurturing yourself. Mars is going to station retrograde in your 5th house, and he's conjunct the South Node there at the moment, and he's going to be on and off all summer. He's going to be squaring that Uranus in the 8th house. This is really a summertime for you of liberating yourself from those old belief systems around pleasure, around joy, around creativity, around self-expression that are holding you back. This is a time for you of coming into your truest, most authentic version of self without worrying what other people think. Uranus and Aquarius are very liberating, non-conformist type of energy, and you know, both of these houses are also connected with our sexuality, so we can feel almost like a kundalini fire, a passion arising that can be channeled into our intimate relationships, or that can be channeled into our creative endeavors. The 5th house is the house that is ruled over by Leo. It's the house where we shine, where we just radiate and radiate out our magnetism, our true soul essence. So Aquarius is the sign of liberation. So all that is blocking you from completely expressing your power, completely expressing your uniqueness, your individuality may need to go. And this can be very connected with the friendships and groups that you're part of as well, because the South Node is going to be moving through your 11th house of groups and friendships. North Node is going to be moving through your 11th house of groups and friendships. So it's calling you away from the old connections and into, you know, creating a new soul tribe that you really do feel at home with. On the 28th of June, we are going to have a Capricorn full moon in your 4th house, and this full moon for all of us will highlight the lessons that we have been learning since winter solstice last year, since the 21st of December, when Saturn entered his own sign. And Saturn has been transiting your 4th house for these past 6 months, really asking you to go deep into your ancestral lineage, into your ancestral karma, to clear out the negative beliefs, the negative thought patterns that have been, you know, coming down through your lineage for generations. So this has been a time where you have perhaps found family relationships much more difficult. You might have found even more oversensitive than usual, Libra. And if you're a Libra with planets or angles in the first few degrees, 1 to 8 of Libra, you will have been receiving a challenging square from Saturn to your Sun, to your Moon, whichever planet you have there, which will have made you feel an extra sense of duty, of responsibility to your family, to your loved ones as well. So this is quite a heavy transit, Libra, because we're clearing, you know, all of our stuff from the past, all of our stuff from childhood. On a practical level, you know, there may be changes in your physical living conditions. You may be feeling really drawn to put more roots down. There could be issues with children, or, you know, there could be psychological stuff that you need to look at in connection with the inner child. So it's a sensitive space for Saturn to be transiting, and the full moon's going to highlight all of the work you've been doing there. So we will see how far we've come learning the lessons of Saturn in this area of your birth chart, and what there is still need to do. This can really make you look at your life, look at your karmic ties, look at your family with eyes of reality. And for a sign that is so focused on relationship, this can be a very, very challenging transit, Libra. And it can also highlight the areas of your life where you are not allowing yourself to be nurtured, or you're not giving yourself the nurturing you're requiring, or perhaps you are expecting people to intuit your needs and you haven't been, you know, fully using your voice and speaking up and asking for what you want. So this can be a potent time where we see what's coming up, you know, where we've been and how much further we need to go with these deep soul karmic lessons that Saturn is providing for us. So on the 9th of July, Venus will begin to transit your 12th house. So this can be a time of, you know, clearing up the love wounds of the past. This can be a time of, you know, needing to turn within to really give yourself that love that you're craving. This can be a time of, you know, old subconscious conditioning around relationships and what it means to be loved or what it means to be beautiful rising up for you. You know, there could be some feelings here of, you know, not being enough, not being good enough. You know, it could be highlighted the ways that you criticize yourself. So just be aware of that and be extra gentle with yourself, because Venus, you know, next month will be coming into your sign where she's going to go retrograde throughout October. She's going to be retrograding through Scorpio and Libra. So this is a good time for a bit of a psychic mop up around relationships. On the 10th of July, Jupiter is going to be stationing direct in your 2nd house. So Jupiter's been in this house of your birth chart since last autumn. He's been retrograde here since March time, since springtime this year. And as he begins to move direct, we can start to see an ease and a flow appearing in the section of our birth chart that he's moving through. So for you, this is going to be the 2nd house of self-value, of resources, of abundance, of finances. So you may have noticed that over the past few months you've been having to really work through a lot of self-sabotaging beliefs, a lot of psychological stuff around what you believe you deserve. So you may have been having to work through issues of giving away your time, giving away your energy without receiving adequate compensation. There may have been, you know, financial difficulties that have taken you onto a deep soul dive, you know, into a deep inner clearing and cleansing process. There may be, you know, a deep realignment of your values and, you know, a deep reassessment of what brings you pleasure and joy in your life. So if you've been working through these things, Libra, as Jupiter stations and begins forward movement, as he picks up speed, you know, towards mid-July, you'll begin to start seeing some results for the work you've done. So perhaps there could be some kind of financial windfall, perhaps there could just be an increasing sense of self-love, which then will magnetize to you, you know, more opportunities, more connections that will eventually lead to deeper, greater financial security and stability. So that's a really beautiful way to kind of come up towards the end of this lunar cycle, which will close with a new moon solar eclipse in Cancer in your 10th house of career, where the sun's been since the summer solstice, or the winter solstice if you're in the southern hemisphere. So this is a time of renewal and rebirth in your career. This is a time of renewing your purpose. This is a time of, you know, really seeing those issues around over nurturing and over giving that may have been rising up this month, and making a conscious decision to create change, setting intentions to create change. It's going to be sitting in opposition to Pluto in your 4th house. He's there alongside Saturn. So this brings that kind of karmic, genetic lineage, ancestral clearing energy back up to the forefront for you, Libra. So perhaps there is some issues that you'll be working with this month around balancing your career and your home life. Perhaps there is some work that you need to do healing your mother and father lines. Perhaps you need to heal and balance the feminine and masculine within you as well. And, you know, perhaps there is just, you know, some deep transformational stuff that is going on around your family at this time that is taking you deeper into your process of evolution. So I'm going to close this little video with a card that I've picked for you. So this is from the Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild, and I've chosen the cards of the Great Mother today because we're talking so much about Cancer energy. And this card is called Talismans of Potency, charging sacred objects of power. So that's a really interesting one. This card really speaks to working with crystals, working with herbs, working with things from the natural world to aid you and support you in your soul's evolution. So you may want to, you know, get a crystal, charge it up under the full or the new moon, place your intentions for the new moon cycle into a sacred object. I quite like to write mine down and put them under a big piece of quartz. This is a smoky but clear quartz, works even better. Or, you know, perhaps you will, with the energy that's happening in your 6th house, perhaps, you know, your health and well-being is slightly out of balance and you need to charge up a herbal remedy or a rescue remedy that you can work with. But also this speaks to cleansing your sacred objects. And for me, that instantly made me think of the energy that's going on in your section of home this month, Libra. So maybe there is a message there for you to clear out your home of any stagnant energy, particularly if there's been difficulties or conflict that's happening in your home environment. You know, perhaps using smudging, toning, sound to really clear the energy around you and to declutter as well, because of the 6th house energy that you'll be experiencing. Perhaps you will suddenly feel the urge to, okay, you know, I've got to get rid of all of this stuff that is cluttering up my mind, cluttering up my soul, so I can think more freely and clearly. So I love the fact that there's actually a full moon in the background of that as well, and the full moon is where we'll be in your section of house and home. So I really feel, Libra, that giving your home a good smudge around the full moon will be highly beneficial to you. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for listening to me, lovely Libras. I'm sending you so much love for this summer of deep soul work and transformation.